Hello everybody, my name is Ryan from the Ryla official YouTube channel, and welcome to another video. I know you haven't seen an upload from this channel in a while. In fact, I was busy because 1. I recently completed midterms in school and I did pretty well on them, and 2. I'm working on another project related to the Ryla official brand, which is off of YouTube, and I will reveal details about that in a future video. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to use the popular recording and streaming software called OBS, and it's available for free for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and is really popular among the online gaming and streaming communities. It's free, it's open source, it's very flexible, which is why so many people like it. This tutorial is for beginners, so we're going to only go over the very basic stuff. I have a Mac, as you can see here, but I'm going to be showing you on a Windows virtual machine because Windows is the operating system that is really popular among the online streaming and gaming communities. And I don't have a real Windows machine to do this on because my laptop overheated and broke, unfortunately, and I'm in the process of getting a new one. And I promise you, when I get a new one, I will make a video about it. Some things will look kind of buggy here on the virtual machine because the way the virtual machine interprets graphics is not really that good. But I'll do my best to explain it. I already have OBS downloaded and installed on this machine, but I will show you what the download page looks like. Here's the download page. You'll be asked to select your operating system, which it should auto-detect anyway, and there's two versions, original and multi-platform. Multi-platform is the better version because it's constantly being developed and it has more features. So I highly recommend the multi-platform version. And here's the source code available on GitHub. So if you're a developer, you can view the code on GitHub. The installation of OBS is pretty flawless, except when it might prompt you that some files on your machine are missing that are needed for OBS to work. And when it prompts you for that, you should tell it yes, because the download is very simple. It'll bring you to a page where you can download the Visual C++ things. You need both the 32-bit and 64-bit versions. I found this out when I was testing it, so make sure you install both those, then reboot your machine, and then try to reinstall OBS, and it should be flawless. Once you have done that, you can open OBS, and the first thing we're going to look at is settings. So on the General tab, your language should be English, unless English is not your primary language, in which case you can select whatever your primary language is. The theme is light by default, and it looks like this, but you might not like that, and you might like a darker theme. Let's go to the Streaming tab. I personally have not done any streaming, so I'm not quite familiar with the settings here, but if you are, then it should be very simple to set them up. You can choose from the popular streaming services or a custom server. The services you can choose from are listed here, such as Twitch and YouTube Gaming, and then you select the server you want, and then you paste your streaming API key provided by the service here. Or, if you run a custom streaming server, you put in the URL, and you put in the API key, and you can use authentication and insert the authentication information here. If this was an advanced tutorial and you know what you're doing, you can select all these settings here. But for simplicity purposes, as this is a beginner's tutorial, we're just going to look at the simple settings here. The video bitrate by default is at 2500, and this is fine. If you don't know what bitrate is the measure of how much data is written per second in the format of kilobytes per second. So 2500 kilobytes of data are written for every second of video. If you change this to a higher value, then the more data will be written per second, which will be a larger file size, but it'll actually be a higher quality video. But for beginners, you probably do not really need or care about a super high resolution video. Your audio bitrate, 192 is fine for voice, and you do not really need a higher bitrate unless you're dealing with a lot of music. Recording path, here you choose the folder where you want OBS to store all the videos that you create with it. This should be used as a temporary container, and when you are actually editing, you should be moving the files out to a more organized structure. And the thing I did is I went into my videos library and created an OBS folder. Recording quality, I would keep this on same as stream. You really do not need to have high quality or lossless unless you really need it and you know what you're doing. It says lossless quality generates tremendously large file sizes. Lossless quality can use an upward of 7 gigabytes of space per minute at high resolutions and frame rates. It's not really recommended for super long 25-minute videos unless you're one of those people that have like 6 terabytes of hard drive space. I really do not see a need for it myself, and most beginners are not going to need it. MP4 is the recommended output format. I recommend it because a lot of video editors will support it without needing any plugins, and it creates a smaller file size, but still good quality, and YouTube's favorite file format. For the audio tab, I would leave the sample rate in the stereo alone, because that will be fine for most modern audio equipment, such as headphones and microphone. For your desktop audio, this should be set to your speakers or headphones. This records whatever you hear through the speakers or headphones to the audio track of your video file. If you're recording a game and your game has sound effects and music, then it will be captured. You may not want this and you can disable it. Your mic/auxiliary device is what your microphone is. This will also be recorded to the audio file. This may or may not actually get recorded properly into your file because if you choose MP4, it does not have support for multiple audio tracks. But there is an easy solution, and that requires you to install Audacity or a similar program and then just record your voice for there and find a way to synchronize it. I actually do not have any microphone attached here, so I'm just going to disable it. For your video settings, you can choose between DirectX or OpenGL. Sometimes it can be based on your preference, but other times certain games might require one instead of the other, and this can also depend on your graphics card as well. Video adapter. This is not going to work for me on a VM, but for most real Windows machines it will work. Here's an important note for laptop users. Most new laptops have something called switchable graphics, where the computer automatically switches between your processor's integrated graphics and a discrete graphics card. I would recommend letting OBS use your discrete graphics card, which is going to be an AMD or NVIDIA card. And also, if you are using a desktop with multiple graphics cards, then it really doesn't matter which one you choose, whatever one you think can support OBS. It's important to note that if you choose to record at higher resolutions, or if you are doing streaming in addition to recording locally, it may require a lot of processing power, so make sure your graphics adapter that you tell OBS to use can handle it, or else it can make your system very slow. Your base resolution is the same resolution as your monitor. I would leave this the same. Your output resolution is totally your preference. If you're shooting for a 1080p video, then put in 1920 by 1080. If you're shooting for 720p, you might want to put in 1280 by 720. FPS, 30 FPS, or frames per second, is fine for most uses. But for some high-powered games where you really want to get good quality video, you can put it all the way up to 60 FPS. I recommend defining hotkeys for the starting and stopping of streaming, and starting and stopping recording, and muting and unmuting your microphone. So all you have to do is click into the box and press the keyboard combination, and it will automatically register it. And the advanced tab we're not going to even worry about because this is a beginner's tutorial. So now that we've configured the settings, we can explore this interface. This is your preview window. This will show you how OBS should capture it. It's not possible for the preview window to show you all the scenarios. If you're capturing a full screen game, this preview window is not going to be able to show you what it looks like. You'll actually have to do a test recording. What are the scenes? Scenes are basically predefined settings that are set up in advance, so that you don't have to configure the same settings for every single recording. You might have certain settings that are good for streaming to Twitch, and another set of settings for streaming to YouTube. For the beginner user, you might only need one scene. And if you're using OBS just to record locally and not streaming, you don't even need to worry about scenes. But what all users need to worry about is sources, because without any sources, OBS will not be able to record anything except this black screen. There are many different sources you can choose from. The first one is image. This should be pretty self-explanatory. Basically just shows you a still image on the screen. A good example of where you can use this is if you're doing live streaming and you want to take a break for something, you could just turn off the other sources and throw up this image. It can have a notice saying, "Thank you for watching, we will be back in a few minutes." The next scene is the media. This can be used to play a video or audio file. Again, pretty self-explanatory. The next one is text. And here, you can just type in anything you want, and you can change the color and the font. And you can also move the text and just resize it. So let's say you just wanted some important information in the bottom right corner. The only time I would think you would need this, you're doing a live stream and you want to put some information on the screen, like a link to something or a lower third that is introducing you. I don't ever see the need to do this, and when you're just recording locally, because you can just do this in your video editor. Display capture. And that is useful for, well, capturing your whole screen. You can choose the monitor that you want to capture and whether or not you want your mouse cursor to appear. If you're showing how to use a program, I actually recommend showing your mouse cursor because it will let you see exactly what you're clicking on. But if you're playing a game, you do not need to show your mouse cursor. And in the preview window, we can see that the whole screen is being captured. The display capture will work for any windowed program. However, this is not to be used with any full screen games. Window capture is the next one, and this is a pretty popular option besides game capture with OBS. If you only need to show one window or one application the whole time during your stream or recording, window capture is for you. The preview of this is kind of buggy on a virtual machine. This will show you all the windows that you have open, and you just select the one you want to capture. For some reason, probably related to the bugginess of a virtual machine, it's not acknowledging that Google Chrome is open. But I tested this on my Mac, and the window capture worked pretty well. Multi-adapter compatibility, you'll see the same setting in the game capture. It's just needed for people who have trouble with switchable graphics on their laptop. This should not even be an issue for most desktop users. You should not use this unless you really cannot find any other way to make your graphics work. Game capture. This could be used to capture full screen games. Most of the games that are commonly shown in Let's Plays like GTA, Call of Duty, League of Legends, Dota, Team Fortress. Those are all full screen games that have to be captured with the game capture mode. This is if you just want it to auto-detect, but I recommend actually finding your game, choosing it yourself to make sure it captures the right thing. Now, for some reason, window capture mode would not show me the list of programs I have open, but here it's showing me what I have open. Again, this setting I already talked about when we went over window capture. Force scaling. If you're having trouble getting game capture mode to capture your screen right, then you can enter in the resolution manually. During a game, I would not recommend showing your cursor because it could be kind of annoying. Another setting that you might want to set, if this is a Steam game and you want to show stuff like Steam Chat or something else like TeamSpeak, you'll need this option so that it gets captured instead of just the game being captured. And the last one that's commonly used is video capture device. This is used to capture your webcam and or your capture card. And I don't have any of those plugged in, but if I did, I would be able to show you the settings here. And you can have multiple sources. So for example, you can have both the video capture device, your webcam, in conjunction with the full screen game capture. You can have as many sources as you want. It's only limited to what your system can handle. Here in the mixer, you could adjust the input levels of your desktop audio, which again is your headphones, whatever you hear OBS hears. I disabled the microphone because I didn't have one attached to the system, but if you did, it would also show up here. You can check your input levels and adjust the input levels here. And that's pretty much it with OBS. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. You can also click here for a playlist. I am working on a professional looking end card to have at the end of all the videos, which will have links to subscribe and links to the previous and next video and that good stuff. And I really wanted to get this video out to you guys today. Please share this video if you know anybody who wants to be a YouTuber and anybody who wants to be a gaming YouTuber, maybe a YouTuber that shows a lot of stuff on their computer. I would highly recommend OBS. Show them this video and they'll know how to use it. I'm trying to get back to the regular schedule of one video uploaded per week. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.